Welcome to yet another video by Shira Rivka. Say a bracha on one food and want to eat another. Whoops. Bloopers. Please be quiet. Okay, Rivka, read this. Thank you. Leah, read up. Probably good enough. Okay, this poses for two problems. Number one, the bracha sayer has said the bracha on one specific food, but later on he decides he wants to eat another food. Does he need another bracha? Question mark. Number two, quite the opposite. Someone has changed their mind about not eating more and would like to continue eating. The person says a bracha on a certain food and wants to eat food of a different type, but it shows it's the same bracha as the first food. Let's say an apple and an orange. The orange was on the table at the time that the bracha on the apple was said. Should a new bracha be said on the orange, even though the bracha sayer, we shall name him Joe, did not have the intention to include the orange in the bracha of the apple? Even if the orange was not on the table at the time of the apple bracha and was brought out later, you must say a new bracha, although there are times when one bracha can work for them both. This is dependent on a little bit of details which will change the law as follows. Number one, first of all, you must figure out the intention that Mike had when he said the first bracha. That is, if his intention was to include everything, or if the intention was including only the foods that were in front of him, or if there was no intention at all and he is just randomly saying a bracha on a random food randomly in front of him. Very random. Number two. Also providing an effect is if the orange is brought out and Kelly still has some of the apple in front of him, or if he ate it all. Number three, also making a difference is the new food is this. If this new food is the same type as the first food exactly, or if it is a different type of food but has the same bracha. If it is not the same type as the first food exactly, you still have to divide up if it is similar to the first or not. For example, if the first was food and the second is a drink. Number four. There's a difference if it was eaten in the proper consistency, question mark, or not, but we will not dwell on this detail now or ever. Jessica says a bracha, and in his mind, he is including in his bracha all the foods that he will eat similar to that which he is about to eat. He should not say another bracha on what he will eat later, even if the later food is something completely different, provided that their brachot are the same ones, even if there is nothing left from the first food, not fast food, first food. McDonald's isn't kosher yet. And the opposite. If at the time that the first bracha was being said, Jessica had in mind only to eat the fruit that was in front of him and later decides to eat more, he must say a bracha anew. Okay. Even if it is the same thing as the first and there is still left over from the first fruits. Even if Hannah takes something without thinking of whether she would want more later on or not. It is not in his mind to figure out what he would want to eat later on. Also, he is not thinking about whether she wants to eat the fruits in front of him at that time or not. He is randomly making a bracha because she must, and he is not putting any thought into it, like most people do when they say a bracha. I kid you not, this is how it was written in the book. This brings up a machloket. It was decided that if there were some foods left over from the first bracha, do not make another bracha on the new food, even if it is a different type. This works if the foods you are dealing with are both food and both drink. If you can say a bracha on the food, and now comes a drink with the same bracha, you must say a new bracha. According to the book, people probably don't mix food and drink at the same time in the meal. But if Hannah had the intention and the proper thinking at the time that the bracha was said, Hannah could cover the food and the drink in one bracha, because all these cases could not have been confusion in proper intent if the proper intention was there in the first place. Therefore, you must have proper intention. Just think of what you say, and then you won't have to deal with these complications ever. Okay, Shira, read this. 3, 2, 1. Time's up. The truth about human nature. This is all talking about snacking. Ashley is eating the fruits that are in front of her. And then another type of fruits are brought out. Another bracha does not need to be said. It is the way of the human to continue eating and never stop. The bracha sayer on any food probably saying the bracha on that stuff that is in front of him. He does not need to say another bracha on new stuff brought out. And the opposite. If he thinks he will eat the things only in front of him, he would then wants more food later on, he must say another bracha on the new foods. If there was no intention in the first place, the sayer decides he wants more food, he does not need to say a new bracha unless it is a different type. But if there is some left over from the first bracha, no new bracha should be said. If a bracha was said on a drink and out comes the food, or vice versa, the new bracha must be said. But if this is a meal, no new bracha must be said. Okay, back to Rivka. 3, 2, 1. Terms and conditions. All of these were explaining problems that come out for one type of food and when to say another bracha on another food in the same eating session. This only works if the foods were the same in their importance on the bracha billboard ranking system, or if the first one was more important than the second one. But if you say a bracha on something that is less important than your second food, you cannot deny the more important food its right to have its own bracha. The reason for this is so that it is not worthy for the more important food to be denied the proper intention it deserves while its bracha is being said. Okay, Leah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Someone eating in his own home, Mr. Smith. He does not know what else Mrs. Smith is going to bring out on the table. When he makes his initial bracha, he should have in mind to include everything Mrs. Smith will bring to the table, and he will not have to make a new bracha. And there will be no doubt. If the food that Jeremy made a bracha on with proper intention slips out of his hands or gets lost, or it got spoiled before he could eat it, he cannot substitute it for a different food, even if it is the exact same type, unless in his intention he was thinking to cover this one as well. The problem here is the fact that Jeremy said the bracha with the special intention on the specific food that is now gone, if there was no intention to cover the second food. This is a machlokes as to whether or not you should say another bracha on a food of the exact same type. Okay, Shira. Normally, if someone says a bracha properly, new bracha do not need to be said in the middle of the meal, even though there are some cases in which one must go back and say the bracha again in order to continue eating. This is a problem called mindlessness. Lots of time passes before the dude here decides he wants to sit back down and continue indulging. He took what is known as a break. Does he need a new bracha or not? If he did not forget about his food the whole time, he can keep eating without saying a new bracha. The eater must go back and say another bracha if he wants to continue eating after the break. If he did not think he would continue because he thought that he's stopped, and it is as if he finished his meal. There are those that say that this is not indecisiveness because it is human nature to think that they finished eating but want to continue eating. If they decide that they are officially done eating, it is done and they want to eat more, another bracha should be said. If it was a snack or a meal, also has an effect on this. If the guy is eating in his house or being a guest at someone else's house, also affects. According to these, the laws change around. If Jake has officially ended his meal clearly, and he will not eat more, and later he changes his mind and wants to keep eating, he should say a new bracha because the meal has ended. Here are some examples of indecisiveness. If Caitlin is preparing for Birkat Hamazon, or already has done Mayim Achronim, or says Rabotai Nevarech, or if he picks up the cup for Mayim Achronim, these are all examples of pausing from eating more and the first bracha. If Bracha Achrona or Birkat Hamazon was said, and the meal was already over, because he thought he was finishing all the food, but now he knows there is more food to eat, he wants to keep eating, he should say another bracha. Someone who takes a pause in the meal and leaves the spot where the consumption took place and goes elsewhere, even if he returns to his original position, this is what we call a clear break, and he must go back and bless again. The reason is because it is not the human way to return and eat after the break, and also to go to a different place. If it is possible to encounter a case which is not so clear-cut, it is possible. It is possible to encounter a case which is not so clear-cut. We may not be sure what the human's intentions were as to if he decided he finished his meal or not. Mushal to a certain someone who is sitting and eating and later decides in his mind to not eat more, and he starts to bench, or he asks for a cup to wash Mayim Achronim. There may be doubt because it is not so clear. That's why there is a difference between a snack and a meal. Okay, Rivka. Good. Indeed. Someone who was eating a meal and finished or took a clear break. There is a machloket. It is normal for a human to think that he ate enough and to pause his meal on the thought that he would not be eating anymore, and after some time he wants more. And even the person sitting to eat even a small meal, it is possible to count any slight movement as a break until he makes for himself a big meal. There is a doubt about this bracha, and so he should not eat more after the break. Even in a meal, there are times when you must return and say the bracha again. If a clear break was taken, say it again. If you take a drink break and want to keep eating, you gotta say another bracha. These laws apply only to the eater in his own home. If he is a guest, his eating is not dependent on his own thoughts, but the thoughts of his host. The guest may think that there will be no more food, but suddenly the host brings out more food and the guest gotta eat it, or else he's gonna be rude. Therefore, the guest should not think the meal is over until the host calls out for a Birkat Hamazon. Even if the host says Rabotai Nevarech, this is not considered a break yet, because the host may want to eat more, and then you would have to eat more. If the guest has officially stopped eating, even if the host wants to keep eating, the guest is in the clear break zone. There are two types of breaks. The clear kind, like Mayim Achronim, saying Rabotai Nevarech, raising the glass for Birkat Hamazon, saying a Bracha Achrona, or someone making his mind up and leaving a spot. There are also the not clear kind, like someone who randomly thinks to stop. All who clearly make up their minds and then change them must say another bracha, and there is no difference made to the size of the meal. If it was not clear if the human made up his mind or not, like if it was a drink, he must go back and say another bracha when he starts to eat again. Even if it was a meal without bread, he cannot clearly make up his mind. He should not eat more. A guest should not consider the meal over until his host decides. In other words, please have clear intentions when you're saying your brachot. so that all of these complications can be avoided. Thank you.